We're going to go over day 2, or my day 2, day 3, the Sunday at Terrificon. Let's look at the books I picked up. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Check out my Instagram, my email, my whatnot, my eBay store in the description below. So, I already came out with my Saturday Terrificon haul. I recorded that from the hotel. I'm back in the messy confines of Bronzeville headquarters, and I had a great time. I delineated pretty much what I did in my off time, which is part of the fun of Terrificon, in the Saturday video. I went to the casino, go out to lunch, go out to dinner. On Sunday, I just dug. And by the time I turned around, it was like 3:30. I'm like, I haven't had a bite to eat. So I grabbed some quick lunch at the snack bar there. There was no line by that time because every sane person had lunch. And then I went back to digging and pretty much left when the show left and headed home. So I then was sitting watching TV and going through these books, processing the books, and you know how we do it. If you watch the channel, I have my 4 S's of comic book hauls, whether it be a collection, flea market, show, whatever. Save, sell, slab, and spec. So save is I'm putting this stuff for the PC. Sell means I bought it to sell it on whatnot for a profit, and that usually doesn't come at a show like this. I didn't really do any dollar bin hunting. There are a handful of books. Most of the books that I put to sell were the ones that, upon closer inspection, are not going to be 9/8. And then I save, sell, spec. There are a couple of speculation books in here in terms of characters or something that I feel might have some juice going forward, especially ones that are rumored. We'll talk about some of those. And my spec has always leaned more heavily towards DC. The spec game is not what it was 3 years ago when everybody was speculating on like every minor character's appearance, or rumor thereof. And then, like Batgirl's roommate, who was supposed to be in the Batgirl movie that's been shelved. And then the last one, which is a lot of this collection, is Slab. So let's take a look at me entering the show. Okay, so there are a few vendors set up over here. We're still early, so folks are still setting up. And
Aloha, Northeast Comic Con, guaranteed not boring and free parking.
Thank you.
You betcha. Aloha, Northeast Comic Con.
Hey. Set up there with Virgin Lord. There's a snack bar here about lunchtime. That has a line that's ridiculously long. So I started in the left in the 600s aisle yesterday. So I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to start in the back, right? So we're the first ones here. People tend to stop at the first booths that catch their eye. I'm going to go to the back. It's a it's a technique. I call it the Easter egg technique. And so when my kids were little, when they go on Easter egg hunts, I tell them, go to the back of where all the eggs are, because all the kids are going to stop and pick up the first eggs. And so there'd be big competition for those first eggs. If you go to the back, then there's not competition. And sure enough, they go and they scoop up lots of eggs. So there'll be fewer people in the back, I believe. I'll see which of I don't think I've really dug through a whole lot of these. So we'll Get that. Try a lot of comic vendors here.
You do have one of the many great attractions.
So some guys from the Enterprise. Small comics. Dollar Bones. They have a big setup here. I think I've dealt with them before. They have some really cool stuff. They have a lot of magazines too. That's always good to dig through. A lot of magazines. Holy moly. So, alrighty. Where is the furthest back comic book vendor I'm going to go? Oh, I still got a little while to go. Some people over here. I think I looked at these walls that didn't dig. So, if I see one bigger book, I might get it. And so, yeah, I think this is as far back as the comics go. Oh, right here, okay. We'll dig over here. Or back here. Okay, let's take a look around. So, and then the artists are back here. So, maybe we should do artists. Maybe next year. So, let's go back. Let's start here. New comics to booth. So let's see what we got here. No, that's not going to buy stuff. So I got one of those yesterday. And so, okay, we'll take a look here. So this is more of the artist alley. You have some vendors set up with their own artwork and so forth. Bob McCloud is there.
It's Steve Aiken in front. But I noticed whatever he's using was bleeding through.
Ralph Macchio, the writer, not the actor. Christopher Priest. Adam Brown. And then the celebrities, excuse me. Beatty. Through the big lines for it here. We have, that dude is not Hallie Atwell. We have Karen Allen and John Wesley Shipp. Yep. I find it JSA with the Jay Garrick, and I'll get John Wesley Shipp to sign it. Rich Pileggi. Henry Thomas from E.T. Also portrayed Dr. Midnight in season 1 of Stargirl. Mark Silvestri. Doug Jones, who is not, I found out, was not the closer for the Cleveland Indians.
Just a massive crowd.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Robbie Rist, Cousin Oliver. I mean, he's here signing Turtle stuff. Come on. He's Cousin Oliver. Always will be Cousin Oliver. Right. Tom King. Here we have Ian Hubert. Chris Soule. So, Wendy and Richard Pini. I saw it. Was it Fantasy?
Big fan of the YouTube channel.
Thank you.
We're just finishing this.
I saw the first Elf Quest. Was it Fantasy? Not Illustrated. Is Fantasy Illustrated? The first Elf Quest. I saw that in a 9/8 slab yesterday. That's kind of amazing. It'd be really tempting to, if you're a big Elf Quest fan, to get that Kraken signed. That would be awesome. Imagine 9/8 signed of that one. Pretty cool. So, it's time to go hunting for some more comic books. Enough of the stuff that's not comic books. Got t-shirts.
Here comes Cal. What they have to say about it.
One of the things I noticed, and I looked at pretty much every booth that had comics at Terrificon. I definitely looked at all the walls, and I talked to a couple of other people that were there. I did not, nor did I know anyone else who saw a single PSA slab. Now, obviously, they just started slabbing books. They're not allowed out there, but these are major dealers that were at this show. So, I mean, I don't know if I think New York will be a better litmus test because we'll be another couple of months in to PSA grading. I'll have PSA slabs by then. They're available on eBay, but I thought it was curious that not a single one did I see at Terrificon. So just to sum, I wasn't there on Friday, but I did get the 3-day ticket because it was just a little bit more expensive, maybe like $15. And it got me the earlier access to the show. So I think I explained this. There are two, basically outside the show, there are two lines, one going in each direction, one up towards the casino and the hotel rooms, which are the early birds, and then one going out towards the parking garage and onto the street, which is the longer line. But the staff, Mitch Halleck, does a great job with the show all the way around. I mean, he's a comic book guy. It's a comic book show. You know, you get some great actors there and some great, artists and writers, comic book creators, voice actors. So I had left with a trivia question. So in the previous video, in the Saturday video, when I was on the elevator going down to dinner, I said I was on the elevator with someone who appeared in Avengers Endgame. So at this point of recording this, I haven't yet published the previous video, so I don't know if anybody answered it correctly, but most people guessed Helly Atwell because she was the only actor that was in Avengers Endgame that was there at Terrificon. But I was actually in the elevator with Jim Starlin, who had a cameo towards the beginning of Endgame when Captain America is running the support group after the 5 years later. So, yeah, I stumped most people with that. So anyway, let's get into the books. I think I discussed everything else I wanted to say for now. Okay, first vendor I went to, and you can see in the video I went to like farther away where people hadn't gotten yet. Not that big of a deal. I mean, it wasn't like I had any destination particularly in mind. So I picked this up. This is a tricky book to get in high grade. It's Brave and the Bold number 200. It's first appearance of the Outsider, so it's the first appearance of Geoforce, Katana, and Halo. It's a square-bound book. And it also has this gold, it's not really I wouldn't call it foil, but this gold ink. It's late, and I had a long drive home. This gold ink on the cover, and sometimes you can see tarnish in that, so that makes it a little more difficult. This is a pretty nice copy. Then Amazing Spider-Man 362, the second appearance of Carnage in a newsstand. This is very minty. And it was funny. So if you play Wordle, right, the Wordle for Sunday was minty. I thought it was a little bit of a sign. Anyway, Batman 404 by Miller and Mazzucchelli, the first chapter of the Batman Year One storyline. Captain America 321, just a classic Mike Zeck cover. Those are all going to slab. This is going in the spec pile. Wasn't quite good enough to slab. I'm kind of putting Supergirl stuff aside for when the movie comes out to have like a Supergirl night. So that is going in the spec pile. This, what do I do with this? Hold on a minute. Maybe I just didn't put a sticker on it. I tend to put stickers. Yeah, no, this, okay. Yeah, this didn't quite meet the 9.8 muster that I was hoping for. It was Batman 368. There's so many Jason Todd keys. This is the first full appearance of Jason Todd as Robin. For some reason, he's not a ginger in this one. I don't remember all the particulars. I wasn't really collecting Batman this time. I have them all now. So that's going in the sell pile. Then I went to the next vendor. The next vendor was, I took this down, RC Comics. And we had a nice conversation. The first one that I went to actually was Brick House Comics. Sometimes I almost say Brixton Comics, but that my buddy Paul, I'd gotten some books from him on Saturday that he set aside for me. Brick House Comics up in Connecticut, and they've often, or almost always, been on the comic crawls. So he was set up. So I went to RC Comics. I picked this book up. They had a lot of, I've been looking for this in a 9.8. I have it in a 9.6. First appearance of the Animaniacs Christmas special, but it didn't quite meet that muster. So that's going to go for sale. Then I was also digging through, and they had some funny animal books. Lower grade, and I'm kind of okay with that. This is a May 1946 book. It's Giggle Comics number 29. I'm okay with lower grade for the funny animal stuff. That's not really the wheelhouse, but it's kind of fun to have. If I ever come across a nicer copy, I can always upgrade. That's not a big deal. I didn't spend a lot of money on that. So that goes, actually, the May 46 goes elsewhere. I'll put that over here. Okay, we're back to a potential slab. Transformers number 6. This is some first appearance, but these early Transformers in 9.8s go for money because they were more meant for kids. The older collectors like myself, that came out in, 1980 something? I was, like in college, I think, at the time. And I didn't have any connection to the Transformers. So it's usually people who are younger than I, like early 50s or younger, that are Transformers folks. The 80s kids. I'm a 70s kid. Then, this is a minty copy. Talking about TV. Not a TV show I was ever really into. But there are plenty of people who are. It's Married with Children number 1. From Now Comics. That's cool. This is another slab, and I have to put a sticker on this one. My desk is such a mess. I like to have stickers on them, so when I put them away and then I pull them out, I know where they're from, and I don't have to regrade them or anything. I'm like, oh, that was in this collection. I look it up, and I got it from Terrificon in 2025. It's Dazzler number 33. I just submitted a copy of this that I had gotten in a collection. I actually have another copy. I don't know if it's a 9.8 contender in storage from a different collection I haven't even touched that I bought a year ago. Wait for those videos. I kind of do my collections last in, first out. So when I get backed up, I just whatever. Anyway, Dazzler number 33. This Bill Sienkiewicz cover homaging the Michael Jackson Thriller. Then this, I think this completes the run for me. Hardware number 48. These later issues are harder to get, so that's PC bound. It goes there. Now, I was looking at the wall books, and I pulled down a couple books. One book I've been looking for in a 9.8. More on that later. And the book next to it. It was a DC Universe logo, and I looked it up, and it's one of the rare ones. It's actually the second print, and the sticker price, I'm like, he goes, I can make a deal. I said, I don't really want to spend big money on this book today. That's not where I want to spend my big money. He goes, give it to you for $75. I'm like, okay. This is Superman Man of Steel, number 20, second print DC Universe logo. The second print is the DC Universe logo. It has the Roman numeral 2. It's harder to see. It's black on kind of a blue border, but it is there. Not a 9.8 contender, but 9.2. This book is crazy expensive, like hundreds of dollars. So this is going to go in a different slab thing because I'm just going to put that. That kind of gets accelerated to the front of the line. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Then I went to the next booth, and they had a lot of long boxes, and I just started digging through and chatting and whatever, as I want to do. I picked up this. I always pick up this book when I can see it. This is a decent, solid mid-grade. This is presents well. Flash number 198. This includes the first solo Zatanna story as a backup. Not sure why there was a backup in Flash, but anyway, that is a spec book. I believe we're going to get Zatanna. This book was a little bit of a disappointment. This will also go in spec. Kind of waiting to see more of this character. Supposedly, we're getting him. We got him in an animated series recently, but live action. And I've been picking up this first appearance. It's Web of Spider-Man number 36. Front cover is dead 9/8, but there's a crease on the back that's going to prevent it from getting a 9/8. I think I knocked it down to like an 8/5. But first appearance of Tombstone. Put that there. Then another one I picked up to spec on. I didn't think it was a 9/8. There were clear spine ticks on it, but this is a character that, again, we've seen announcements about. And I'm not... Like, for the Vision Quest series. The Vision Quest series, all it is rumors. And this is Daredevil 150, the first appearance of Paladin. I'll put that to the side. This is a pretty sharp copy. I've been looking for this in a 9/8. This is Micronauts number 1. I think this is 1978. You know, 70s 9/8s are more difficult to get. I had these toys as a kid. They're kind of the second generation Amigos. The Amigo toys that I played with, like as a young kid, you know, like elementary school age, were the 8-inch action figures, the world's greatest heroes, you know, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Tarzan, Planet of the Apes, Star Trek, all that sort of stuff. The Micronauts were these smaller things, and they were pretty cool. They had like magnetic pieces we'd put together. But I think what doomed the Micronauts for Christmas one year, my brother and I both played with them. So I was upper elementary school. It would have been, yeah, I guess I was probably like 5th grade, maybe 6th. And the Christmas present was they had this like vacuum tube thing that you could put the Micronauts in. They put them in a chamber, and then you go. But it never, when you put it together, you could never get it like sealed enough that the vacuum would work. And my mother went to return it like to Child World, you know, on the 26th or the 27th, and like there were many people with boxes of it. If you had any success with that Micronauts toy, let me know. But the Micronauts themselves are pretty cool, and so was the book. Anyway, Batman number 363. This is the first appearance of Nocturna. Kind of a short-lived villain for Batman, but a decent book in a 9/8. This book, some damage on it. I might actually just throw this in the press to make it a little more presentable and then have it for sale. But I couldn't pass up the price on this because of what it is. I guess it's been sitting in the box for a while. $10. Superman 680 with this Alex Ross crypto cover. Yeah, I'm gonna throw this in the press and have it like on One Night next week. So that'll be a cool book. And then I grabbed this. This is a PC book. I had to look it up. I have the 2 issues of the Dell series based on a TV show from the 1960s. And this is from Airwave Comics. And it just kind of caught my eye, and I couldn't leave it behind. I Dream of Jeannie number 1 with this depiction of Barbara Eden on the cover. I'm sure if they did this today, they get like Adam Hughes to do it or something. Yeah, I was always a fan of I Dream of Jeannie. I think it's an underrated series. Sidney Sheldon, who created it, was a really good writer. He had won an Academy Award for, I think it was The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer. Yeah, I watched I Dream of Jeannie. I bought the DVDs when they came out. And Barbara Eden had a little bit to do with that. So that is PC. I picked this up. This is square bound, so it's a little tougher. I thought it was worth more in a 9/8 than than it seems to be, but this is Batman, the animated series Mask of the Phantasm. The adaptation, it's a square bound. That's going in the slab pile. Another copy of Brave and the Bold 200, but this one's a newsstand. Again, the first appearance of Katana, Geoforce, and Halo, the Outsiders. There is a little bit of tarnishing. I don't know if you can see it in the bottom of the Golden Age Batman logo. It's hard to pick up on camera. So that's what that is. Then I went to another dealer, and this was RoboPicto. They're two brothers, I think. They have the same last name, so they're either brothers or cousins or whatever. Anyway, I said, okay, let me upgrade, fill some runs, look for some cool books. And they had grades on all their books, and their grades are pretty solid. Can't say the same about all the vendors that were there. I picked up this Green Lantern number 80. I'm trying to complete these Neil Adams books. I need like 2 more. None of the big ones. I have the drug issue, the John Stewart, and the first one. So that is going in the PC. And then, this was fun. I picked this book up. This is very high grade. They had it at a 9.4. With a press, I think it's a 9. It could be a 9.6, maybe even. Fingers crossed, a 9.8. Can't go in a pre-screen because it's a vintage book. It is Adventure Comics 435. Just one of the 10 issues that Spectre was in with the Jim Aparo. This is incredibly high grade. So I'm going to put that away. And then this was the book that I was looking for when I got the DC Universe logo, Man of Steel. I've been looking for this in high grade. I did get one at Undiscovered Realm recently. I paid more for this one. I think this one is nicer, and I think it has a very decent shot at the 9.8. I have a 9.0. I got an 8.0 in a collection. It is Firestorm, number 1. First appearance of Firestorm. So that's going to go in the clean press pile. That's modern. It's from 1978, so it can be put into a pre-screen. So let me get the rest of the pile here. Still have a bunch of books to go through. Hope you're enjoying the show. Please like, comment, subscribe. Put on the notification bell. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway. Catwoman number 74. This was the next vendor. Catwoman number 74. Adam Hughes cover. I think you can figure out why that is one of the more popular ones. It's about maybe $100 a 9.8 on a good day. This one I've gotten a couple 9.8s out of it. Just because I know it has good value in a 9.8. And this is a newsstand of DC Comics Presents number 87, the first appearance of Superboy Prime. And I don't think there's any danger whatsoever of Superboy Prime coming into the movies. You never know. I mean, but this is very minty. So that's there. Fury of Firestorm number 24. This is the first appearance in the preview inside of Blue Devil, newsstand. Very nice. This is a Loki variant of Lady Loki. That's for my daughter is a big Loki fan. I got her the first appearance once. This is a book that I picked up yesterday as well. This is a nicer copy. Marvel Tales number 235 with this Todd McFarlane cover. I mean, that is an awesome cover. Did this come out before? It must have come out before X-Men 1. Kind of has the same vibe to it, right? In terms of the composition and the motion of the characters. But I just love the colors are great on that. So, McFarlane covers. There are a few in Marvel Tales. Some are worth some. It's weird. There's some McFarlane covers that people don't really know about, that don't pay attention to. Like I've done it before when I picked them up. The DC Marvel Comics Presents 32. It's a wraparound also. And then this is a book I also picked up yesterday, and this is a nicer copy today. I think this has a really solid shot at a 9.8. It's a solid contender. New Mutants number 1 in a newsstand. Then it's still the same vendor. I think I might have gotten a couple books mixed up, but it's irrelevant. Swamp Thing number 8, nice high grade. I have this like at a 9.0. I don't know if I had that or not, but it would be an upgrade. And you can see I'm kind of like working on that run too because I'm pretty close. Number 18. It went 24 issues. Wrightson did it with his first 10, I think. So I think it's Nestor Redondo at this point. Swamp Thing number 18. This classic cover by Dick Giordano of Detective Comics 566. Might need a little lightening on the back cover. I've never lightened a book, so I don't know. We'll see. It does have a little bit of tanning. I was afraid then when I dug into this book because it's the same title, like 17 issues later, but this is very minty. Detective Comics 583, Mike Mignola cover, but the first appearance of the ventriloquist and Scarface, or Scarface and the ventriloquist. So that's a good solid 9/8. Web of Spider-Man number 32, classic Mike Zeck cover. That's probably the best of the books from that Kraven's Last Hunt storyline. Then another one, Punisher War Journal number 6. This is the first of the two-part confrontation between Wolverine and Punisher. This is because the first one. They're both Jim Lee covers, but this is the more expensive one. And then this one, I don't know. Yeah, I guess this does need work, but maybe. This is like one of those that's a little bit of a long shot. Captain America 286. It's like a 965, 97. See where it falls. Then my buddy Dave from New York Collector Auctions was set up, and he has Joe there. So I was chatting with them for a while, just digging through boxes. And I grabbed this because I talked about yesterday, I got a Silver Surfer collection that had 1 through 18 from the Volume 1. It didn't have the one shot from Volume 2. I picked that up yesterday. It didn't have number 1 from Volume 3 or the final issue, 146. So now I'm missing some of the issues, like in the last third of the run, but I have this key. So that is going to be for sale next week. Sale. There we go. I picked this up. I'm kind of the opinion it should be worth more than it is in 9/8, but it is a great cover by a very popular artist in one of his earlier works. Batgirl number 9. Blonde Batgirl, that's when Stephanie Brown, who previously had been Spoiler and was also at one point Robin, is Batgirl. It like took them forever for Barbara Gordon to be the actual Batgirl in a Batgirl series. It was Cassandra Cain first. So, yeah, that's for sale. And then I picked this one, just threw it in. It's kind of a fun one. And it is Justice League Dark number 39. This is the Harley Quinn variant. So in the New 52, issue 31s, a lot of them were the Mike Allred Batman 66 variants. There were also the movie poster homage variants, like the Batgirl Purple Rain one. So I'm trying to collect all the Allred ones. I probably shouldn't even think about getting started on the others. So then I went to the next vendor, and I was just, at this point, I was concentrating more on working on runs, like silver bronze stuff. So I went to the next booth, and I picked up Brave and the Bold number 77 with the Atom. Number 79, this classic Neil Adams cover with Deadman. The interior art is Irv Novick and maybe Mike Esposito, if I remember correctly, but it's definitely Irv Novick pencils, I think. Or am I thinking of this one? No, maybe this. Now I've confused myself, and I don't want to give you bad information. No, I think Neil Adams did the interiors on this also. Let's see. Let's look for it, shall we? Yeah, that's Neil. That's Neil Adams. I don't even have to look at the credits. Yeah, that's definitely Neil Adams. So Neil Adams, cover and interior art. I don't know if I have a copy of this already. Maybe I do. I don't know. I just sell the undercopy. And then Neil Adams cover. This is the one with Irv Novick interior art. And also Bob Haney had no idea how the multiverse continuity worked. This is Brave and the Bold number 88 with Wildcat. Wildcat frequently appeared in Brave and the Bold, despite the fact that he's Earth 2. And there's no mention of that. It's just like, yeah, he's an old character from the 40s. So he's got like gray temples and stuff. There was never supposed to be a Wildcat on Earth 1. So, anyway, those are all PC bound. Goes right back there. So is this one. I'm trying to work on this run as well. This next batch of books. And, yeah. I got from Very Gary. Mr. Miracle number 18. I think this is the last Kirby issue. Then I picked up a newsstand copy of Secret Wars 11. And 2 newsstand copies of Secret Wars 9. Not the biggest keys in the Secret Wars run, but people still like to collect the newsies on that. Because you can, right? It's only 12 issues. And then PC bound, working on a Swamp Thing run, issue number 22. This is very nice. It's like a 9.2. Gorgeous copy. I do like high-grade comic books. I'll settle for lower grade, and then if I find an upper grade in the right price, I can upgrade of something I'm really interested in. Or if it comes across in a collection, even better. So then I got this as issue number, I should put a notification because it is, it's a Charlton book, so the number is on the cover, but you can never read it because it's too small. This is a non-superhero Charlton. I realized during the show I don't think I have any of the Peacemaker books. This is Space Adventures number 52. This is from 1963. Captain Atom had previously made his debut in, was it 57 or 59? Then talk about a spec book. I picked up one yesterday. Pick up one almost every day. Shade the Changing Man number 1. Man, I just can't help myself at this point. It's like almost like, either a running joke or a fixation for me that I just pick up Shade the Changing Man number 1. So then I went to Last Minute and I talked about grading. I did not agree with the grading of these books when I got home. And I should have been a little more circumspect. The 50% off the price was right, and I did okay. I'm not going to complain. I just don't necessarily understand. I probably, in whole, did definitely overpay for these books, especially the last one. The last one kind of, I was like, because I was looking for a really high grade. Anyway, just get through it. New Gods number 5. I think I now have all the Kirby issues. I might have completed the run, or I'm very close. He had an 8.0. I had a 5.0. That's like Fantastic 452 kind of difference. Mr. Miracle number 12. 9.2. I had an 8.0. And then Justice League of America 153. Front cover looked good. And I don't even know what I had on the back cover. But there's like there's a chip. Not a big chip. There's a chip in the back. So that'll just be for sale. Because, I really want high-grade Justice League because that's like the biggest source of my collection, right? It's the thing that really started me collecting and, for the most part, introduced me to all the other heroes. And, when I was a kid, who would have thought I'd have as many comic books as I do now and have all these great experiences. But that's going to do it for the Terrificon haul. I'm wearing my 3 Men in a Basement t-shirt. They really go all out and really enjoy setting up the show. And I think for the most part, the vendors had a good day. People were buying some bigger books. And it's a weird kind of amalgam between gambling and comic book buying. There may be some sort of correlation there. You got some maybe big spenders, and you also have the possibility that somebody has a good day in the casino. So, I wanted to conclude by just going through like kind of my methodology and why I'm taking this stack of books and submitting them to CGC. I'm actually going to put them here for now because I still have to sort the books from Saturday. I cataloged them all, but I didn't have stickers with me, which is how I like to, keep some of the information. Kind of for myself, if nothing else. So, all in, right? Comics, I think. I might be missing a little bit here and there. Basically, comics, food, Room tickets minus the $100 that I won at the casino, the total cost is $3,078, right? Now that includes the the books, the PC books that I'm picking up, right? We use, a lot of us use, some people don't like it, but I don't care. Letting the hobby fund itself, right? And it could be really simple. If you just wanted to collect, like, let's say an Amazing Spider-Man run, and you find a nicer copy of issue number 50, then maybe you sell the other copy that you had, or you trade it. I buy collections. I keep a lot of stuff from the collections often, and I sell the rest, or I use it to upgrade what I already have, right? There are a lot of folks on YouTube that do that. But this is kind of my thought, right? So, I mean, the hotel room, I got a good rate on it. I went through Terrificon's website and got a much better rate than if I just went on my own by like several $100s. And so all things in, let's say $3,100 just to round it off. The fair market value of all the books I put aside as potential 9/8, and there are 56 of them, was $9,683, right? And that doesn't include the DC Universe logo Man of Steel book, which is probably going to be a few hundred. If we throw that in, let's say $10,000, because I know I'm going to get a grade on that, right? It'll probably be 9.0, 9.2, somewhere around there. And I spent that much money. Wow. Yeah. So $3,100 I spent. About $5,000 if I hit on half the 9/8, right? And some of them are stretches. I understand that, but a lot of really solid it should be solid 9/8. It depends on the grade of the day, and if I miss something, it's not a flawless process, right? 5,000, spent 3,100, and I have some bigger books, some good books, and then some bigger books, some Golden Age books that I keep. That's how the hobby funds itself. Now there is a grind aspect to it, right? Again, costs about over $1,000 to get 50 books graded. I was actually thinking, should I put all of these in one pre-screen? Or most of them? That would be fun. Well, one of them wouldn't be in that. It wouldn't be modern. It would be vintage. But that's beside the point. I'd be like, oh, this is what Terrificon, comics came back, how many got 9/8, that sort of thing. Then I have to sell them. And then there's fees associated with it. You get deals. You don't always get fair market value. But still, it gives me a healthy room if I have success with CGC. That could be a big if sometimes, as some of my unboxing have shown. But, again, a lot of these books, I do have to work on them first. And then maybe some of them just won't. And I'll sell some. And, but I have a lot. I bought, 107 books. I'm looking at 57 of them to get graded. So that's 50 that aren't getting graded. Maybe, another 10 or 20. Let's say 20 that I'm going to sell, and 30 that are going to stay in the PC. So, anyway, that's kind of my methodology. And I did kind of look at Improved Collecting, the video he did when he went to Heroes Con in North Carolina. He was hunting for 9/8, but he didn't do anything but hunt for 9/8. And he does this as his main source of income now, I believe. For me, this is secondary. It's a fun hobby that I spend way too much time on. But I'll be retired soon, so I need a hobby, right? At any rate, I'd like to thank you for stopping by. I've gone on too long as it is. That was Terrificon in the books for 2025. I look forward to next year, and I know everybody I talk to pretty much looks forward to the show. So we'll see you next year. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here, and this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.